Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Daffa Afif Nabillah and I'm from Dian Nusantara University with English Literature major. And I want to explain about literary criticism and postcolonialism theory. So, what is literary criticism? Literary criticism is an attempt to describe, study, analyze, justify, interpret, and evaluate literary works. So, literary criticism is a dynamic and multifaceted field that continues to evolve, offering new perspectives and insights into the world of literature. It involves engaging with texts in a thoughtful and critical manner, uncovering their deeper meanings and significance. By engaging with diverse critical thinking, we can deepen our understanding of literary texts, foster critical thinking, and explore the complexities of the human experience. The next is the role of theory in literary criticism. First is traditional literary criticism. This is the first layer, like intrinsic elements like plot, character, and a setting. The next is formalism and new criticism. Formalism is from Russia, and new criticism is from American wise people. This theory is about to analyze the elements of a literary works like text, structure, and technique. The next is structuralism. Like the name, this is focused on a structure, like a language, pattern, etc. This is similar to formalism. The next is post-structuralism. This theory is counter-structuralism. There is semiotic in there. Semiotic can be song or advertisement. Next is postcolonial criticism. This theory is talk about effects or impacts after colonialization. Next is gender studies and queer theory. This is perspective of gender and sexuality. Next is psychoanalysis theory. This is a psychology studies about human. Next is cultural studies or sociological studies. This is cultural representative like anthropology, education, history, literary, media and communication, philosophy, law, politics, and science. The last is Marxism and critical theory. This theory is about social divide, modernity, and social class. Next, I will explain about one of the theory that is postcolonialism theory. So, what is postcolonialism? Postcolonialism is a critical approach that examines the legacy of colonial rule and its impacts on societies, cultures, and identities. The focus is on re-examining history and power relation in postcolonial contexts. Simply said, postcolonialism is an impact after colonialization and seeks to understand the long-term impacts of colonialism and champion the perspectives, identities, and voices of once colonized people. Here is the elements of post-colonialism. The first is marginalization. This is a colonial powers often portrayed colonized societies as the other, inferior, and uncivilized. Not only society, it can be politic, economic, and social marginality. The next is identity. This is a postcolonial theory that explores the complex issues of personal identity, social, natural, national, religious, and cultural after colonialization. Third is multiculturalism. This is a postcolonial theory that analyzes multiculturalism, diversity, and the challenges of different cultural traditions in postcolonial societies. Next is hybridity. This refers to the blending of cultural elements, is a key focus of postcolonial theory. Hybridity challenges the notion of pure and authentic cultures. Next is mimicry. Mimicry is identical with a chameleon. So, this is where colonized peoples adopt and imitate the language, behaviors, and cultural practices of their colonial rulers like a chameleon. Last is migration. Postcolonial theory also addresses migration, displacement, and community experiences that result from colonialization. So, here is the expert or theorist in Postco field. The first theorist is Franz Fanon. The keyword of Fanon's theory is the other. Fanon explores the psychological and sociopolitical impacts of colonialism, emphasizing the need for the liberation of the colonized. The next theorist is Edward Said. The keyword of Said theory is Oriental or Asian people. This theory is introduced the concept of Orientalism, which examines how the West has constructed a universalizing view of the East. Next is the famous theorist in literary world, Homi K. Bhabha. Bhabha introduced mimicry and hybridity on the theory. He claims that identities in colonial encounter are never stable. So, for mimicry and hybridity, I've been explained on the previous slide. Let's move on to the next theorist, Gayatri Spivak. The keyword of Spivak theory is subaltern. Spivak argued the importance of giving marginalized groups the opportunity to speak for themselves. Okay, now so we are in conclusion. So, by combining postcolonial theory and literary criticism, we can gain a deeper understanding of how literature reflects and challenges the power structures and dominant narratives shaped by colonial histories. Postcolonialism has a critical perspective to understand the complex and long-lasting impacts of colonial history. So that's it that I can explain about what is literary criticism, brief explain about some theory that we can use, and one of the theory that is postcolonialism. But there is still so many theory in literary world that we can use for analyze some literary works. So thank you so much for your attention, and I'm sorry if I have mispronouncing or misunderstanding. Bye bye.